They trust us completely. Every day, your pet walks through the same halls, rests in the same cozy spots, and curls up on the same furniture, all without suspecting that some of the things around them could actually hurt them. It's not because you're a bad pet parent. In fact, the more you care, the more likely you are to be shocked by what you're about to discover. Because some of the most dangerous threats to your furry friend are things you probably use or do every single day. This isn't about dramatic accidents or rare cases. It's about the invisible risks, small choices, or common household items that could silently impact your pet's health, behavior, or even shorten their lifespan. From scents we love, to snacks we casually share, from cozy decor to high-tech gadgets. Your home may be hiding more than you ever imagined. And the worst part? Your pet can't tell you what's hurting them. But what if you could learn to see the world through your pet's senses? What if you could spot the hidden enemies they can't warn you about? In this video, we'll walk you room by room, behavior by behavior, to uncover 7 hidden dangers that are surprisingly common and tragically overlooked. You'll not only understand what they are, but why they're dangerous, and how to make simple changes that could completely transform your pet's safety and happiness. This isn't just a list, it's a wake-up call. Because loving your pet means protecting them, even from the things that seem harmless. Are you ready to see your home through their eyes? Let's start with the most deceptive danger of all, scented products. That lavender candle you light to relax, the essential oil diffuser humming quietly on your nightstand, even that citrus-scented floor cleaner. These everyday comforts might be quietly damaging your pet's lungs, skin, or even brain. Dogs and cats have an extraordinarily sensitive sense of smell, with dogs detecting scents at concentrations nearly 100,000 times lower than humans can. What calms you might overwhelm or poison them. Essential oils like tea tree, eucalyptus, clove, cinnamon, and peppermint can be toxic to both cats and dogs. Cats, in particular, lack the enzyme glucuronyltransferase in their liver, an essential tool to break down these compounds. Without it, even a trace amount can build up in their system, leading to a cascade of internal stress. Vomiting, drooling, tremors, lethargy, and in extreme cases, liver failure. It doesn't take direct ingestion. Just breathing in vapor from an active diffuser or grooming their fur after laying near a spot you cleaned can be enough to trigger a toxic reaction. These oils are everywhere, in aromatherapy kits, cleaning products, air fresheners, even flea treatments marketed as natural. But natural doesn't always mean safe. Now walk with me to the kitchen. That innocent-looking bowl of grapes on the counter? A small handful could lead to acute kidney failure in dogs. The exact toxic mechanism remains a mystery to veterinary scientists, but the danger is well documented. A single grape or raisin might do nothing to one dog and kill another. Chocolate, especially the dark and bitter varieties, contains theobromine and caffeine, 2 methylxanthines that dogs and cats metabolize far more slowly than humans. The result? Vomiting, diarrhea, seizures, heart arrhythmias, and in large enough doses, death. And then there's xylitol, a sugar alcohol now found in everything from gum and peanut butter to protein bars and toothpaste. In dogs, it can cause a sudden insulin spike, plummeting their blood sugar to fatal levels within minutes. Liver damage often follows, even with immediate treatment. But it's not just food. Let's step into the laundry room. Dryer sheets, fabric softeners, and detergent pods contain cationic surfactants, chemicals that soften fabrics but can burn your pet's mouth and esophagus if licked or chewed. Even the smell of these items can cause respiratory irritation. If a dog steals a dryer sheet, or a curious cat jumps into a warm pile of freshly dried clothes and grooms itself afterward, they're being exposed to potentially dangerous residues. Let's take a moment to think about your living room. The cozy throws and cushions, the plug-in air fresheners, the potted plants in the corner. Do you know which ones are safe? Many of the most common houseplants are toxic to pets. Peace lilies, philodendrons, Dieffenbachia, and pothos contain insoluble calcium oxalates that can cause severe oral pain, excessive drooling, vomiting, and swelling of the throat if chewed. Some, like sago palm, are even more dangerous. Ingestion of just one seed can lead to liver failure and death in dogs and cats. And what about the sounds? Your pet's ears are tuned to a different frequency range than yours. That ultrasonic pest repeller you bought on Amazon? You may not hear it, but your dog does, constantly. High-frequency sound from electronics, TVs, or chargers can cause low-level stress your pet has no way to communicate. Over time, it accumulates. Dogs become reactive, cats hide more often, and behavior issues seem to come out of nowhere. But it's not nowhere. It's in the walls. It's in the devices. It's in the unseen world of frequencies and smells we don't even notice. Many of these dangers go unrecognized for years. Your dog's mild upset stomach is brushed off. Your cat's change in litter box habits is blamed on mood. But what if it's not just personality? What if it's your lavender diffuser or the citrus spray under your sink? The real danger is invisibility. Not just the physical invisibility of chemicals and compounds, but the emotional invisibility of what our pets endure in silence. They can't tell us when something smells too strong. They can't explain why a spot on the rug now feels unsafe. They adapt, they hide, they cope, until the day they can't anymore. Every object in your home gives off signals. To us, they're harmless. To your pet, they might be shouting danger in a language we've never been taught to understand. But now, you're learning to listen. You're learning to decode the invisible world your pet lives in, where every scent, every sound, every surface might be shaping their health, behavior, or emotional state. And the most empowering part? You have the ability to change it. Let's move deeper into the places where love and danger often collide. Your pet's favorite resting spots, play areas, and even their food and water bowls. The next hidden danger isn't a product, it's a habit. Neglecting to clean your pet's bowls daily can quietly expose them to harmful bacteria like E. coli, salmonella, and biofilm-forming pathogens that thrive in moist environments. These aren't just gross, they're dangerous. According to the National Sanitation Foundation, pet bowls are among the top 5 germiest household items, often dirtier than a toilet seat. Every time your dog licks the bowl, a microscopic layer of saliva gets left behind, forming a slimy biofilm that can house colonies of bacteria. That biofilm is invisible to the naked eye, and standard rinsing doesn't remove it. Pets, especially those with weaker immune systems, can become chronically ill from something as seemingly innocent as a water bowl that hasn't been scrubbed properly. Now, consider the temperature and placement of these bowls. Are they near the litter box? Do they sit under direct sunlight where bacteria can multiply rapidly? Is the water changed once a day or less? Small oversights, repeated daily, can turn into long-term health risks. Diarrhea, lethargy, vomiting, symptoms we often chalk up to something they ate, might actually be caused by something they always eat or drink from. Then there's the floor itself. If your pet eats on a slick tile or wooden surface, their paws might slide slightly every time they lean in. This subtle instability can cause tension in their joints and muscles over time, especially for older pets or large breeds. Imagine eating every meal while standing on a slippery surface. You'd feel it eventually. Your pet does too, but they can't tell you that their knees hurt. You only see the limp much later. Let's shift to another hidden threat: behavioral neglect through overstimulation. It sounds contradictory, but it's a real psychological issue. Many pet parents unknowingly flood their pets' senses with constant stimulation. Music playing, TV on, robotic vacuum cleaners whirring, guests coming and going, toys that make noise every few seconds. While variety and enrichment are crucial, too much chaotic input without structured downtime can cause low-grade anxiety in pets. Dogs begin to pace or bark excessively. Cats withdraw and stop playing. You might think they're just high energy or independent. But often they're trying to regulate themselves in a world that never seems to pause. Some pets also suffer in silence from something as simple as lack of routine. For us, unpredictability can be exciting. For them, it's stressful. Feeding them at random times, inconsistent walk schedules, or erratic interactions create an atmosphere of constant uncertainty. This can lead to stress-induced behaviors like destructive chewing, over-grooming, or house soiling, not out of defiance but confusion. Animals crave rhythm. Your schedule is their heartbeat. Then there's the danger of inappropriate restraint. That collar that jingles with your dog's name? If it's too tight, it can cause thyroid trauma, nerve damage, or even airway restriction. For cats, collars with bells can lead to chronic stress due to constant noise right next to their sensitive ears. And what about harnesses that aren't fitted correctly? They can rub raw under the legs, restrict proper movement, or even impair breathing. We often buy gear based on appearance or price, not understanding the anatomical and psychological needs of the animal who will wear it. But sometimes, the greatest harm comes from love misplaced. We buy beds that are too soft for pets with joint issues. We leave them alone for long hours, assuming that toys or treats will fill the emotional gap. We use crates not as safe havens, but as punishments. Every choice we make, even the ones made with good intentions, shapes the emotional architecture of our pet's world. Your home is their entire universe. They don't get to leave, drive away, or escape for a weekend trip. What we create around them is all they know. And what may seem minor to us, a certain smell, sound, temperature, or routine, can ripple through their bodies and minds with powerful, lasting effects. But now, something has shifted. You're not just a pet owner. You're becoming a protector, a decoder of signs, a witness to the silent language your pet speaks every day, in glances, postures, small hesitations. And once you see the hidden dangers, you can't unsee them. You start to notice the nervous tail flick before a scent diffuser kicks in, the slight hesitation before stepping onto a certain floor, the restless pacing during a noisy afternoon. And with that awareness comes power. The power to rewrite the environment they live in. The power to make small, consistent changes that restore their sense of peace, their trust, their comfort. Because the biggest difference between a home that's merely safe and a home that's right is the attention we pay to the invisible. Let's walk into the bedroom, yours and theirs, a place that's supposed to feel like sanctuary. But here too, hidden dangers lurk in the fabric of comfort and convenience. Let's talk about temperature regulation. Many pet owners assume that if they're comfortable, their pets must be too. But animals often experience heat or cold more intensely than we do, and they can't adjust the thermostat or grab a blanket. Cats and small dogs in particular are sensitive to drafts and cold floors. You might see your cat curled tightly into a ball, not just out of coziness, but because their body is trying to conserve heat. Conversely, brachycephalic dogs like pugs or bulldogs struggle with heat regulation, and even a warm room with poor ventilation can cause respiratory distress. Overheating signs, panting, glassy eyes, drooling, can be subtle until they become emergencies. And yet, the silent battle for temperature comfort happens daily, unnoticed. Now look at the bedding itself. Many pet beds are made from synthetic materials that trap heat or fail to support joints properly. Orthopedic issues can worsen quietly, especially in aging pets, when soft beds create pressure points instead of relief. And if those beds are rarely washed, they become ecosystems for mites, allergens, and bacteria. Your pet might be sleeping in what is, biologically speaking, a slow-acting trigger for skin issues, respiratory problems, or chronic itching. Yet again, they can't tell you directly. They just scratch, or shift uncomfortably, or stop sleeping where they used to. Let's open your closet for a moment, because clothing for pets is a growing trend, and with it comes another risk. While jackets and sweaters can help short-haired or small breeds in cold weather, improper fit, rough materials, or elastic bands can cause rashes, restrict movement, or trap heat dangerously. Worse, some clothes contain dyes or chemicals that are safe for humans but toxic when licked by pets grooming themselves. We also need to talk about the invisible leash, screen time. No, your dog isn't scrolling through TikTok, but you are. And while you're watching, scrolling, or working long hours from home, your pet is often left waiting. Not physically alone, but emotionally isolated. For pack animals like dogs, being mentally ignored feels like exile. Cats may be more independent, but they still notice shifts in your attention. The emotional temperature of a home can change dramatically when your eyes are always on a screen instead of on them. And then there's noise. It's one of the most overlooked stressors in pet environments. You might love loud music or dramatic movies, but your pet's ears are up to 4 times more sensitive than yours. Sudden bass drops, alarms, or even the chaotic soundscape of a normal TV show can trigger anxiety in both cats and dogs. Some pets will tremble, others will hide, Some just endure it day after day in silence. Even our language can become a threat. A raised voice, even if not angry, can trigger fear responses. Dogs, in particular, associate tone with mood. A loud laugh, a sharp "no," or even a cheer can be interpreted as a warning if your body language isn't congruent. You might not be yelling at them, but they feel it anyway. Over time, this can lead to conditioned anxiety or fear-based behaviors, problems that seem to come out of nowhere. And while we're in the bedroom, let's confront one final, often ignored reality: emotional energy. Yes, it's intangible, but it's real. Animals are deeply intuitive. Dogs, especially, can detect chemical changes in our sweat and body odor caused by stress or sadness. Cats may respond with aloofness or increased vocalization. When you cry, they know. When you're tense, they feel it. Your home's emotional climate can directly impact your pet's emotional well-being. If the environment is one of tension, yelling, or chaotic energy, even without violence, your pet is absorbing it. They may not run away or lash out. Most won't. But they adapt. They shrink emotionally, or they harden. They overcompensate with hyperactivity or seem to tune out. You might call it a behavior problem, but in reality, it's a mirror of your home's emotional balance, or imbalance. And here's something profound. The more you tune in, the more you'll start to notice things you never saw before. The hesitation before they jump onto the bed. The sigh that isn't just contentment, but fatigue. The shift in routine that speaks volumes if only we're listening. This awareness isn't meant to make you feel guilty. It's meant to awaken a deeper kind of care. The kind that doesn't just feed, walk, or play, but observes, protects, listens. This is where the true power of the pet-human bond comes alive. Not just in shared moments of joy, but in the quiet adjustments we make out of love. Because being their guardian means more than loving them. It means knowing their world better than they do and shaping it with empathy. So now, take a moment. Picture your home, not as you see it, but as your pet experiences it. The scent of floor cleaner lingering in the air, the faint buzz of electronics you no longer hear, the bowl that hasn't been scrubbed in 2 days, the draft under the couch where they nap, the collar that's just a little too snug, the bed they no longer sleep in. None of these things scream danger, but together they build an invisible world that your pet navigates with faith. Faith that you're protecting them, that their guardian knows best, that they're safe. The truth is, most pet owners aren't careless. They're just unaware. No one teaches us to look at the world from an animal's point of view. We're taught how to feed them, train them, walk them. But rarely are we taught how to see them, how to interpret the quiet discomfort, the subtle signs of distress, the slow building stressors that accumulate over time. And that's what makes these hidden dangers so tragic. Not their intensity, but their invisibility. But here's the miracle. Once you do learn to see through their eyes, everything changes. You begin to move differently in your own space. You clean their bowls without skipping. You check their bed for signs of discomfort. You stop using that air freshener, not because you dislike it, but because they do. You learn the rhythm of their anxiety and you adjust your own. You become fluent in a language that doesn't use words. And what you get in return? It's not just a healthier pet, it's trust. Deep, unconditional, radiant trust. The kind that only exists when two species choose to live not just together, but for each other. A dog who stops pacing at night, a cat who starts to play again. A quiet nuzzle at your feet, not for food or toys, but just to say thank you. These aren't dramatic moments, but they are everything. Your pet isn't asking for perfection, they're asking to be noticed, to be understood, to be safe in the world they can't control. And now that you know the truth, the scents, the sounds, the patterns, the products, you are the difference between a life lived in low-grade stress and a life filled with peace. You don't need to change everything overnight, just start. One bowl, one habit, one observation. It's the smallest details that carry the biggest weight in a world your pet can't explain. Because in the end, loving a pet isn't about what we give them. It's about what we're willing to learn, to change, to see for them. If this video helped you see your home in a new light, or made you think about your furry friend a little differently, consider subscribing to Mundo Animal. Here, we don't just share facts, We uncover the hidden language of pets, their fears, their joys, their silent conversations. Together, we're building a world where animals are not just loved, but deeply understood.